To all who come to this happy place, welcome. This is SNU Does DCP, where SNU students who are DCP alumni talk about their experiences with the program. Today, I am joined by my guest, Jon. Welcome, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. I'm so excited to talk all things DCP. I'm very excited.
I'm so ready.
Let's kick it off with a really simple question. Mm-hmm. When was your program, and what was your role?
So my program was from the beginning of May of 2023 to the very beginning of January in 2024. I was in Animal Kingdom ODV. So basically, if you saw someone give ice cream at carts in Animal Kingdom, hey, look, I was one of those guys.
That's awesome. Actually, when I was in Disney for spring break, I got chocolate-covered banana from one of those ODV carts.
Let's go.
Love that.
The ones that are like $6.50.
It's okay. I use my Disney credit card. It's fine. Okay. What made you want to apply for the college program?
So back when it's actually a very funny story. Back when I was 2 years old, and the reason why I say 2 years old is because my mother has a photo of apparently me choosing it. I heard of a Disney college program, and I was like, Disney University is a thing? I'm going to go there, and I'm going to get a 4-year degree in Disney trivia. And it wasn't until I was 12 years old when someone looked me dead in the eyes and said, no, you just work for the company for like 6 months. And I was like, bet, I'll still do it. We're great. But it's been a lifelong dream of mine, and I was so happy that I was able to do it.
That's so crazy. You've known about it since you were 2.
Yeah. We had a family friend my parents had heard about it when I was 2, and then we met a family friend of ours who worked at Epcot. I forget what her role was, but we were family of the day one day, and she was a CP at the time, and so she was able to explain all of the different aspects of the CP program, and I was just like, oh my god, you're the coolest person ever.
That's so awesome. That's crazy you've known about it for so long. So it really is like a lifelong dream.
Yep.
That's crazy. And so how was your application process? So you were one of the first people to do the phone interviews, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I applied online first, as we all do, through the breath ring. And then I had a phone interview with someone named, I believe her name was Rachel. And I did it in the Wolak Learning Center's,
the study rooms?
The study rooms, yeah. I was just like, I need a quiet place. Where can I go? And I prepped for all of it, and it was like a lovely 15-minute call asking me different questions that I absolutely do not remember to this day. But I was like, this is a cool conversation. And then a couple of weeks later, when that snow day did occur, I got that email being like, you're accepted. And I did start crying. Immediately running to my parents in their room, just being like, oh my god, look, it happened, it finally happened.
Oh, that's so awesome. We had so many snow days last year. It was crazy, but that's awesome. It's so funny that we're talking about the interview process, because this morning my friend was like, I have a friend that's applying for the program in her phone interviews today. Can you talk to her? And I was like, okay.
Yeah, sure. Whenever someone asks me advice on the CP program, I'm just like, sure, but I want to tell you right now, it's going to be different for the two of us, because it's different for every single person involved.
It's different. There's so many aspects. It's you as a person. Yep. How are you able to handle change and work, and how much or how hard have you worked in your life? How's your roommates? Yeah. How's the job? There's so many aspects. It really is different for everyone. Mm-hmm. But the way to keep sane, I guess, or keep happy, it's the same for everyone. I think me and Maddie were talking about it, but you have to go in with not too high of expectations. Yep. You just have to be what I told the girl that I talked to this morning. I was like, you need to make friends with your coworkers. That's how you're gonna survive, and then just try your best to find ways to make magic.
Yep. I have a friend who did the program a year before I did, and we met up for dinner maybe a month before I went down, and I was like, give me all of the information that you can give me on the program. And she's like, yeah, I'll give you the Disney version of it, where it's just all hearts and roses and rainbows. Yeah. But then I looked her dead in the eyes and I'm like, now tell me your worst horror story right now. And she told me a fantastic story that I'm not going to tell you because it was pretty bad. But I was just like, when you're able to humble something like as big as a lifelong dream, that was enough to be like, okay, now I'm going in for a job, I'm going in for a learning experience, and I'm going down for a dream. We're going down for 3 things.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it, honestly, because there's just it's so much, and it's so intense, and it's really, you really just have to, like, prepare yourself.
You really gotta.
It's a great transition, but what did you not expect going into the program? Good or bad?
What did I not? Everything that I experienced, I semi-expected. So, like, the long hours that we did, like the 10-day work weeks, those were kind of expected. I guess what was unexpected was the amount of friends that I made down there. I went down there thinking, like, I'm not going to talk to anyone, and I'm going to have no friends. Aww. Like, we can call my mom right now, and she'll be like, he had an anxiety attack 2 minutes before we left the house because he thought he was going to make no friends. And now I'm talking to these people who I can't consider life without. They're my nearest and dearest people, and I guess that was the most unexpected part, was just the people.
Yes, I love that. And it's because I talked to Maddie and she said basically the same thing. Yeah. Like, she didn't expect to come out with all these friends. And same with me, like, the girl that I was talking to found me because my friend who I did the program with my first time. So it's like, it's so nice just getting, and now you have friends, like, all over the country.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think the farthest out from, so if we're here on the East Coast, I have friends all the way down to the West Coast, and I keep in contact with them all the time.
Love that. Yeah, I have some, like, ICP friends, so they're all the way in, like, Ireland and the UK.
I wish. Like, the ICP kids, God love them. Oh.
They're a trip.
Yeah.
It depends on what country they're from.
Yeah.
I have stories, but...
Yeah, same. Brazil, you know how to party.
French... They have a new girlfriend every single day.
That's a separate podcast.
Truly. Anyway. Moving on to more work-related questions. So you were ODV in Animal Kingdom. Mm-hmm. Did you have any unique opportunities or experiences that other people might not have gotten?
I think the ability... So as an ODV member, we had multiple different locations through the park, which was kind of unique for us because most CPs, they normally get one location and they're kind of, like, confined to that spot. So, like, I know Maddie was working at the ice cream place on Main Street, which obviously is, like, name con, but she worked there and she was kind of confined to that corner, whereas I got to go to the 26 different locations throughout all of Animal Kingdom, and I was able to walk around and just kind of experience all these different guests throughout the different parts of the park, because when they're coming into the park, they're just like, whoa, this is amazing, we're in a forest, and, like, we're in a rainforest, and we're doing all these things. And then by the time that they get to Everest, they're just like, I'm tired, we're at the furthest point of the park, my feet are crying, however, I really want to see the Disco Yeti, so let's go do
That's
this.
So real. Did you ever pick up at any other parks, or did you just work at DAC?
No, I only worked at DAC ODV. I have friends who was able to pick up, but I worked 6 out of the 7 days most of the time.
Oh my gosh, really?
I kid you not. It was like 37 to like 45-hour work weeks, and I have friends who have in DAC ODV who has worked more than I have.
Yeah, because, like, I worked at Tomorrowland Foods. So
nice.
I only had, like, 1 6-day work week, but I still was getting, like, I was working 11 hours every day. So that, it racks up.
We never got, well, on Moonlight Magic nights, so, like, the Disney Vacation Club member nights, we would get, like, those 13, 14-hour long shifts. But most of the time, my shifts were around, like, 8 or 9 hours.
Yeah, especially because DAC closes so early.
Yeah,
Jealous.
exactly.
Jealous. There was one shift, I kid you not, I went into work at 6 p.m.
Gross.
And it was what night? I'm trying to think. I think it was, like, Extra Magic Hours.
Oh, no, where it was going open until, like, midnight or something like that?
Yeah, we were open till midnight or 1. No, we were open till 1.
That's...
And so I left work at, like, 3. It was so awful. It was so bad. Were you able to see any celebrities?
Okay, yes, and I'm so glad you asked this question because it's more so that I saw a celebrity, but I saw a celebrity and I didn't recognize who it was until after the fact, and I was able to look her up on my phone. So, it was Gloria. No, it wasn't. She's from Desperate Housewives. Dang it, I thought I would remember. It wasn't Gloria Estefan. It was
I'm Googling. Eva
Longoria. That's what it was. Not me confusing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So my story is that I got to see Eva Longoria because her son wanted a water. I was at the Oasis ODV cart, and the kid came up and he was like, "Can I get a water?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he also wanted ice cream, but that's when Eva Longoria came up and she's like, "I think we're just going to stick with the water for right now because it's 10 o'clock in the morning and we're not going to do anything." And I was like, "Oh, you're wearing sunglasses and you're wearing like yoga pants and whatever. You look familiar." Obviously, we can't say anything about that because we have the white gloves policy. And for those who don't know, it's when you have to treat everyone as if they're a VIP guest. I was just like, "Oh, yep, you're a normal person." But the entire time, my brain was like, "Who are you? I know you. I should know you. I've seen you on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I've seen you on, like, I think she was on How I Met Your Mother. I've seen her on Jane the Virgin. Like, I've seen her in so many things, except for Desperate Housewives, coincidentally enough." And I'm like, "What are you?" So she leaves, and one of my coordinators comes up to me, and she's like, "Why do you look so, like, dazed right now?" And I'm like, "I'm pretty sure I just saw a celebrity." And she's like, "Oh, cool. Do you remember who?" And I'm like, "No, but I saw this Desperate Housewives clip last night on YouTube Shorts." Oh my gosh. Where she's like this like queen of fashion or whatever. And she's like, "I don't know who that is." I look it up on Backstage, and I was like, "Oh my god, I just saw Eva Longoria." And then the same coordinator was just like, "You saw Eva Longoria and you didn't remember who it was?" And I was like, "Uh-huh." But yeah.
I love that. That's so much fun. That's like similar to an experience I had where I was at Cool Ship, which is now ODV, but it was part of Tomorrowland Foods. Mm-hmm. And one of the people I were working with, they were like, "I think that's Tracy Morgan over there." And I was like, "What?" And then there was someone else that was with us, and they were like, "Who's that?" I'm like, yeah.
Anyone our age did not know who Eva Longoria was. It was anyone who was like 25 and older.
Yeah.
But I knew who she was because, again, it was Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Jane the Virgin that I saw her on, and everyone else knew her from Desperate Housewives. And I was just like, "Oh, this is something that I can use to connect."
Mm-hmm. That's like when we had Mark Anthony come into Cosmics, and so all the CPs, they were like, "Who is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, he was married to J-Lo."
How do you not know Mark Anthony?
But then all the ladies came out from behind the counter and they were like Googling him.
We had Justin Baldoni once. So if you have watched Jane the Virgin, he's the main male lead in that. And anyone who was like 24 and younger was just like, "Oh my god, he's one of the hottest individuals known to man." And again, we can't interact with them the way that we were going to. But everyone ran out and was just like, "Where is he? Where is he?" We're like running from backstage, being like, "Where?"
I love that. I feel like I always hear the best like celebrity stories from Dak.
Which is weird because that Eva Longoria story happened in December. Like she was doing the Candlelight Processional after Neil Patrick Harris, who also came to Dak, but I didn't see him. Yeah. I heard that he was there.
I would love to see him.
If I saw Neil Patrick Harris, I wouldn't. It would be so hard to keep up the white glove policy and be like, "Hello, Barney, hello."
Hi, Barney.
Excuse me. Can I get a name for the order? Nope. Sorry, I already know it. Thank you so much.
It was like me one time. We got like a mobile order for Chris Evans, and it was like, "Oh my god!" It was not actually Chris Evans. It was just someone else with the name Chris Evans.
That's so unfortunate.
Because I got him in my line. I was like, "Oh, you're not Chris Evans."
That's so disappointing. I'm sorry to anyone who's listening whose name is Chris Evans.
Oh my goodness. What was your favorite moment or moments from your program?
Oh, that's a really hard question because there's so many. It's my favorite looking back on it However, while it was happening, it was not my favorite experience to do, which was, for those who don't know, Animal Kingdom is known for having some really cool popcorn buckets, including, but not limiting to, the Pumbaa buckets that we had. And for those who also don't know, Disney novelties are not the most sturdy sometimes. Obviously, there was a design issue on our part, but a lot of the Pumbas had broken ears, broken backs, no feet, or missing a nose. And I would be the person who would have to fix the broken backs, the no nose, and no feet. And just constantly calling my mom at the end of the day, being like, I fixed another Pumbaa. And she's crying, laughing on the end of the line, being like, I love the fact that it's now like a normal phrase for you to say, I had to deal with a broken Pumbaa, or I had to deal with a leaking Timon, or like things like that, and just be like, oh my god. But those were some of my favorite moments of just looking to my fellow cast members and just being like, why do they keep on breaking?
That's so... Because we had the Minnie Mouse 50th Sipper at Cosmics, and every time those broke, like, lost a foot, lost a nose, ear, whatever, because same problem.
Yeah.
We just give them to Leah to be like, deal with it.
Yep. Nope.
You guys can deal with it.
I had to learn early on. It wasn't part of my training. However, my trainer looked at me and said, this will be one of your biggest problems. And I took that to memory, and I was like,
That's smart, though.
Yeah. I'm going to fix all of them.
All of them. People just probably knew towards the end of your program, they're like, oh, Jon can fix it.
1,000%.
Yeah.
With any new novelty that came in, I knew not only in which different ways it could be broken, or how a guest could be like, hey, could I get a new one? And instead of giving them a new one, I would try to fix them first and be like, so here's the problem with it. I want to be honest with guests and be like, hey, this may or may not happen. Let's see what happens. But here's how to fix it if it does. And most of the times they'll be like, great. But other times they'll be like, no, give me a new one. And I was trying to avoid option B the most. So every time we got a new novelty, I would be like, let me screw around with it. Yeah.
How to fix it. That's awesome though.
Yeah.
And what was the most challenging part of your program? Fixing all the Pumbas.
Fixing all the Pumbas, yeah. It was... There would be with any job, there are certain times where you don't agree with some people that you're working with. And I will say that I felt like personally I had to deal with that a little bit more than most people that I talk to. Which is like, I'm trying to figure out the nicest way of saying all of this. But like, I will say it could sometimes be a challenge when certain things weren't communicated with the rest of the team. And it was certain moments where it's just like, oh, we're going to change a rule real quick. And yeah. And we would have to deal with it.
Okay.
But that's the thing with any job where it's just like, communication is going to be such a big, like, both tool and also issue that most teams have. As long as you communicate with people fluently, we should be fine. Yeah. But
I feel like because we're in food service, that the communication is able to be bad.
Yeah.
Because if we were safety critical, that would not slide.
It would immediately be top priority. Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Because we were doing food and stuff, it was just like,
oh,
this isn't the biggest problem that we have, but it is a problem we have.
Yeah. And we'll leave it at that.
The biggest problem is the Pumbas. Let's fix them.
Okay. And did you take any classes during your program through SNU? Awesome. So how many credits or classes?
So most of them were like the free elective ones that I could take. But I also took my required internship course.
Oh, awesome.
Through it. So I was able to write a couple of papers, work 600 hours, and boom, 15 credits down.
Hear you. I did the same thing. I think I have like 7 for the summer and 4 for the fall or something like that.
That would have been smart. I did all 12 in one semester, in the winter semester of my program. I hit that 600 hours.
You managed. You survived. And how did you balance doing the schoolwork and working?
Not well. Not well at all. Let me be completely frank. I did wait until the last minute to do. So the internship course was just 3 papers that we had to do throughout the
course of the
throughout
semester,
the course. Because I was often working 6 days and they would be like really long days sometimes, I would just be like, I'm going to pass out the minute that I hit my couch or the minute I hit my bed. And so when I had a day off, I would write like maybe a paragraph or 2, but not the full paper that it's supposed to be, and then realize, oh no, the deadline is tomorrow. And so I would write it out then, which I probably could have spaced it out timeline-wise, but I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, and you managed it well enough.
Yeah, I passed. I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I got the credits.
And would you recommend others to take classes during their program?
If you believe that you're going to have not that much work like necessary to put in, like because I was only needed to do 3 papers, I thought it was going to be fine. And in the long run, it probably would have been fine if I just managed my time better. If you had a class like that, absolutely. Take what you can to get the most of your time there. But if you feel like you're going to be doing blog posts every week, then I probably would not recommend it for me personally. But to each their own, do what you got to do. Yeah.
And you know, because my internship class, we had to do blog posts. Oh. We had to respond to people. Because it was just like 3 of us over the summer. Mm-hmm. We only did during the summer. And then we had to like respond to each other and then respond to the responses. It was weird.
Yeah.
But I just brought my laptop to work, connected to the guest Wi-Fi, and did it on my break.
I never got onto the cast member Wi-Fi. No one told me how to get on it. It was only the guest Wi-Fi. And yeah.
It wasn't the best sometimes, but
yeah,
I did it during, because I'd have like the hour-long break.
Yeah, exactly,
so
yeah.
I was like, I can do this. It's fine. Did I do some of the blog posts while I was in line for rides? Yes. Yeah.
There is no doubt about it. If I needed to pull up a link or like do research for it, I'm going to be in line for 45 minutes and I'm at the park by myself.
Exactly.
What else am I going to do?
Exactly.
Talk to people in line?
No.
Never.
And how did you like Flamingo?
I love Flamingo. I had a very good experience with them. There were a couple instances where it was just like, oh, that's not supposed to be there, or oh no, a leak. But like the team at Flamingo were very responsive to any work orders that we need to put in, and they would be there within like 24 to 48 hours of one of us putting it in. I wasn't able to go to as many like events that they held, so like every time a new shipment of CPs.
Yeah, they have the move-in parties.
Yeah, I went to 2 of those at the very beginning, and then never again.
Same with Maddie. Maddie said she went to like the first 4, and then she just stopped going altogether.
I have a very distinct memory of it was the week after I moved in, and we got like a whole shipment of people from like Southeast Asia and all those guys, and so they were playing music from the countries that were coming in, and so all of the people who were just like, oh, I know this song, like this is in between Katy Perry and Taylor Swift, I'm going to freak out to this song because I know it. They kind of went onto the stage and the DJ was like, please get off the stage. I'm so glad you guys are liking this. Please get off.
Oh my goodness. Were you in like, what room style were you in?
I was in a 2x2.
2x2?
I was at Flamingo East, which in Archimedes. Building 2. I had so much fun. It actually was very, very funny because it seemed like in ODV, specifically in Animal Kingdom ODV, we were all within like the first 5 buildings of each other.
Fun.
So if we weren't in like the first 5 buildings of East, we were in like 31 and 32 at West, and then for some reason, there was one of us at 17 and, like, Doc or something like that. But he was an odd man out, and he had to walk all the way to our apartments.
That's
and
real.
We made fun of him for it. But, yeah.
I love that. And you got along with your roommates.
Yes. Enough. I, weirdly enough, did not talk to them the entire... Well, I had to talk to them occasionally, but I think I maybe have uttered 2 full-length conversations with all 3 of them.
Wow.
And that's even, like, after some of them have moved out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just because our schedules
Didn't line
up. And even when we did, like, talk for those 2 seconds, me personally, I was just like, there was nothing like,
there just wasn't a connection.
There wasn't that connection, but it was enough that, like, all of us kind of, like,
you were able to live in harmony.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
I was able to, like, stay on my side of the room and keep things the way that I like it, and it wouldn't interfere with my roommates, and I feel like because of that, we were able to not have that many disagreements on anything, which was very helpful for me because,
That's good, though.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. And do you want to do the program again or work for Disney in some capacity?
Yes. It's a question on whether I want to do the CP, like the program again specifically. I would definitely do a professional internship with them. Yeah. I think that might be the next goal, but I think Disney is part of my future in some way.
Yeah.
Because, again, I have been dreaming of working with Disney since I was 2 years old, but since I've been wanting to do this. But now that I've done it, I'm like
no.
I'm
done. I've completed it.
I have done that. I have done my destiny, but that was my entire personality for 20 years. Might as well continue on.
Real? So what's your major?
I'm a communication major.
Oh, so you can do a ton of those professional internships.
Yeah. I remember going to one of the meet and greets that we had with, I don't remember the specifics of it. I have the notes in my notebook, but it's not with me. It was kind of like the advertising part of it. And I got to meet with their leaders, and they were talking about, we used to have a professional intern, but we had to get rid of that role, but we're thinking about bringing it back. And I'm like, boom, I highlighted that section. That is now mine. I get notifications on whether or not it shows up again.
Go. Love that. I know they're so competitive to get into, but
I'm willing to fight it.
My roommate from my first program but she got a PI a few months ago. So she's moving down in June.
Congratulations to them.
Yes, she's doing graphic design.
Oh, wow.
So exciting, and I'm so excited because we'll be back in Florida together once
I was going to say, if I remember correctly, I heard that you're doing it again too.
Yes.
Let's go.
I'm moving down in August, and people keep being like, when are you getting your role? I'm like, not till a month. Not till a month before.
You found out a month before?
Well,
or you found out the generalization of it.
Role,
okay, cool.
I think it's different now.
Really? Because I
don't know.
From what I obviously found out the week before. Like, I found out, like, generalization of just like, you're going to be in food and beverage.
It just said food and beverage.
Yeah.
It didn't even say ODV.
Nope. No ODV. It did not even say Animal Kingdom. We just said food and beverage. And then I looked at my mom and I'm like, I've never worked a food and beverage role in my life. And we've actually been gearing away from food and beverage my entire life because I was just like, I don't want to make drinks for people. I don't want to make food. I was in guest service for 3.5 years before Disney.
They didn't place you.
No, they didn't, but that's fine. That's how Disney works.
The way that they place the roles is so weird. I know I had a friend who the only like food and bev experience she had on her resume was an internship with Chick-fil-A for marketing. So they just saw Chick-fil-A and they're like, okay, ODV and magic.
I'm pretty sure I know. So from what I've heard, it's just like based on availability of just like, we're missing 3 people for DAC ODV. Your name is Jonathan, therefore you're going there. Great.
Yeah.
But I also thought like another reason for me specifically was because I worked at the school store in my high school and I would make food for them. And so I was like, I make pretzels in my interview. And they're like, great, you're going to be making pretzels. You're going to be making pretzels for
you have to be really careful
ever.
with your words.
Yeah. Don't say you work in food and beverage.
So mine, because I did the phone interview the first time for the second time around, and they were like, so we see here that you worked at Cosmix, and I was like, yeah, I would just love to do something different this time around.
Be like, if we could possibly do anything but that.
Yeah, I was like, listen, I was so afraid. I was like, listen, I've been in food and bev since I was 16.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready for something new.
Like, I remember being so worried that I was going to become a white knight or custodial, but only because A, I can't draw, so I can't do the animation stuff. And B, I can't clean my own room, let alone clean an entire park. So I thought that was going to be a nightmare. But then I saw what white knights and custodial people actually do, and I realized that they're probably the happiest out of all the CPs combined. And yeah, I
don't have any like friends in custodial in like the parks, but I do know people that did custodial at the resorts and they loved it.
Yeah.
They had the best time. So how did the program impact you personally or professionally, and how will you carry that through the rest of your college experience or in your future career?
So I think one of the big things professionally was the 5 keys that we learned about in tradition. For those who do not know, say
it right now.
Show, courtesy, inclusion, safety, efficiency.
Wow.
Size.
Better than me.
Yeah.
If you asked me, it would have been like inclusion.
No, I remember all 5. I do get a little twitch in the back of my head when I hear each word individually. If they're not said in that order, or I'm pretty sure safety and show I confused because they're the 2 S's. Yeah. But inclusion's the middle.
Safety's number 1, I think.
Safety is number one. I'm pretty sure they're. Are they the ones that have the D for like the Walt Disney D, or they're the ones that have the heart?
The 4 get ranked and the inclusion's just floating.
Inclusion was a new add-on that we've added around the pandemic, I think. And I think it's it flows nicer with inclusion. I don't understand, like, the way that they defined inclusion is weird, but I'm glad they have it.
Yes.
But so the lessons that I learned from using those 5 keys is incredibly important, because it's just like we need to be able to tell a story when we're there. We need to make sure that people are enveloped in it and that they feel like they are one with the story. We need to make sure that people are like having a great time and making those lovely magical memories with their families or whoever they're with. And they're like, those 5 keys were like the 5 things to make Disney, I think.
Yeah.
Or at least professionally.
Yeah.
And I think if I take that out of it and take it into every job that I have, I think it'll impact everything that we do.
Yeah, I think they're just really great things to keep in mind professionally, regardless of where you work. But yeah, that's really awesome. And were you able to network with other people? Or
1,000%. Yeah. This experience is just network after network. Even if you think you're not networking with someone, hey, just saying hi to someone every single day and then building that like little rapport, and then
just building the relationship. Because the amount of people that I talked to, like that I worked with, that we're all working in food service now, but we all want to work on Disney movies in some way, shape, or form. So we have that connection. So it's like, if I get there first, I'm like, you know who I should bring up with me? This person
right now. So if I were to make my own like Disney communication like ad agency, I have the list of people who I'm just like, okay, I want this person to be the manager because she's the best. I want these people to interact with clients, and I want these people to do the actual designing and all that stuff. And I have like a whole list of people.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love that we're able to get these like connections out of the program. That really is one of the most important parts.
Yeah.
But we're almost done. We're on to our closing questions.
No. I'm not ready.
Looking back, is there anything that you wish you knew before you started the program?
Something that I did not know before the program. It would be that I knew I wasn't going to be a morning person. However, I thought I would become a morning person when doing this job. That is not the case. If you are not a morning person, you're never going to be a morning person. Doing this job will not affect that. Even if you're assigned a shift at 4 o'clock in the morning, you're just going to stay up all night to make sure you get that 4 o'clock in the morning shift.
Yeah.
And so I thought that it was going to change me. And then after a month and a half of working down there, I'm like, I'm going to fall. I'm going to fall asleep because I don't think I fell asleep in like 2 days, and that's because I'm trying to make these early morning shifts. I think it was just like these like time management very big, like, downfall of mine, but a skill we're working on.
So, something for other people.
Manage your time as well as you humanly can. If you have a 4 o'clock shift, you are falling asleep at 6 o'clock. I don't care if your friends want to go to Fantasmic. You're going to sleep, bud.
Hey, at least you had Fantasmic during your program.
Did you not have Fantasmic going to your program?
They said, oh, we're going to reopen Fantasmic in 2022. And I said, okay, if I get here in April and I leave in October, we should be fine. No. Literally, I kid you not, right after I left in November, they started doing the cast member previews. So I saw all my friends do it. I was like,
my gosh.
Yeah. And there was one time I heard, I went to Caribbean Beach with my family, and my car was parked at Studios. So I was on the Skyliner back to Studios, walking through the parking lot, sobbing because I just left my family, right? as one does, sobbing, walking through the Hollywood Studios parking lot at 10 o'clock at night.
I have a 5-minute video of me crying watching the fireworks because I left my parents.
Yeah. Anyways, walking through the parking lot, and then just, it's like they were practicing Fantasmic, and they just went, with the volume, they just raised it really quickly by accident and then pushed back down, and I started sobbing again because I'm like, oh my god, I just heard Fantasmic. But yeah, they didn't.
I will say, one thing that I'm glad that I was able to see before I left was the Luminous.
Oh,
I was able to see that.
That's the new one, right?
Yeah, or it's the symphony.
Harmonious was the old one.
Yes.
And Luminous is the new one.
Yes.
Yeah, I still haven't.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Because my friend is always like, oh, it's so bad, don't go see it.
No, go see it in either Japan or on the bridge to England and France, or UK and France. And try to stay away from the Americas as much as you can. I know Japan is like right next to it.
Yeah.
But that is because, like, just don't go to the Americas. Just don't.
And can you share any funny or interesting stories from your program?
Oh, which story do I want to tell that's not going to get me into any legal trouble? There was remember when Olivia Rodrigo came out with It's a Bad Idea, right? That trend?
Yeah.
So my friend had done something that she was less than proud of. However, my friend was really, really proud to tell this story. And as she's telling me this, she's recording my reaction because she wants to make a compilation video. And I didn't know that she was doing it to the song of, like, It's a Bad Idea, right? However, if you watch the video, my facial reactions line up perfectly. Like, to the point that it's like, how did you not hear the song? And I remember watching that video being like, this is the best and will become my personality for the next month and a half.
I love that.
And yeah.
Oh my goodness. And we're almost done. Last question. Okay. What would you tell other people who are thinking about applying for the college program?
Okay, so the advice that I would give on like a material level is bring your car if you have a car. Do not rely on the bus system. Because A, you can make a lot of great memories just driving along I-4 with your friends and singing random Disney songs, even though you work at Disney and you hear them every single day. We're still Disney nerds to the end, and we will sing them in the car. And you can rely on it to get groceries that isn't the big Target, even though the big Target is amazing. And you can have your own schedule rather than the bus schedule, which sometimes would not be the greatest. But that's on the material level. The thing that I would recommend to all future DCPs is live through the experience. There are going to be good emotions, there are going to be bad emotions, there's going to be emotions all over, and you will feel them all at once. For me, this was the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. I am so happy that I did it. But I also know people who were just like, this was a worse decision, and I'm sorry that I did it. But I know that something that we all have in common is the fact that we did it. We have this community. We all have felt these emotions before of pride, of woe, of all of those things. And I think if you're going to go down there, don't let those emotions scare you. Go through them, live them, and just have the time of your life.
Yeah, feel them. Let them sink in.
Yeah.
And just at the end of the day, it's really is almost a once in a lifetime experience.
Oh, absolutely. I cried like multiple times the last week of my program. And I cried when I watched Happily Ever After for the last time at the Contemporary Hotel. And my mom was just like, oh my God, you poor little thing. Do you have any tears left? And I'm like, I truly don't think I will cry for like the next 2 years because there's nothing left.
Yeah. No, even though like I had a love-hate relationship with, where I worked,
Yep.
I was still crying when I left. So
every so often I have to go in my camera roll just to like find a photo from like 2 months ago, or like back when I was working there. And because obviously when you get back from the CP program and you're still in school,
you feel devoid of life.
You feel devoid, and you need to talk about it because
that's the only way it'll live on.
You have to move on. Yeah. And what's even better is that because we have opportunities like this podcast, it gave me the opportunity to be like, someone understands what I'm going through. Oh my God.
Even though for me it was a while ago, like I feel so old.
No, come on, man.
Because my program, I'm almost 2 years from the start of my program, which is bonkers and crazy, and I hate it.
Really?
Yeah. It's because I started April 25th, 2022.
Oh my God.
So it really is a lot of emotions, but yeah. I'm so happy to be going back.
I can't wait until I graduate to go back because I'm waiting until I graduate.
That's what I did too.
Yeah.
It's a good decision because it's like you don't want to lose so much of your schooling. Like I'm so happy I'm graduating on time and to celebrate.
Be like, great. Now I'm gonna go work for the best company.
And they'll pay for my master's. So
it'll pay for your master's. Thank you, Aspire program.
You love that, but yes. So thank you so much for joining me.
Of course.
Do my little outro real quick. So. And so our journey comes to an end, but yours continues on. Applications for the fall 2024 semester are still open, so if you're interested, make sure you do that as soon as possible. Thank you, Jon, for joining me again today, and this is the 3rd episode of Snoo Does DCP. Next week, Natalie will join me and tell us more of our food and bev experience. I will see you all real soon.